What if I told you that the biggest obstacle standing between you and homeownership isn't your credit score, isn't your income, isn't even the housing market? It's a lie that started in 1934, and somehow, almost a century later, people are still believing it. I'm Dustin Hutley. I'm a loan originator here in Southwest Washington, and today I'm going to show you exactly how this one piece of outdated information is costing regular, hardworking people like you thousands of dollars and years of their lives. And more importantly, I'm going to show you what's actually true, because once you see the real numbers, you're going to be a little bit angry that nobody told you this sooner. Let me take you back to 1934 for a second. The Great Depression just happened. Banks failed, people lost their homes, the whole system nearly collapsed. So the government steps in and creates the Federal Housing Administration, the FHA for short. And they say, okay, we're going to insure these mortgages so banks feel safe lending again. And at the time, the standard was 20% down. It made a lot of sense to do so back then. The economy was in shambles, banks were terrified, they needed that cushion. But here's what happened. That 20% number got stuck. It became this unwritten rule that everybody just accepted. Your parents believed it, your grandparents probably believed it, your coworker who bought a house 5 years ago probably still believes it. And nobody stopped to ask, wait, is this still true? Because it's not, and it hasn't been true for decades. Let me show you what's actually available right now today in 2026. FHA loans require 3.5% down. That's it. On a $400,000 home, that's $14,000 instead of $80,000. Conventional loans, you can get in with 3% down. VA loans, 0% down. USDA loans in certain areas, 0% down as well. I had a family come to me last year. They've been renting in Vancouver for 6 years. 6 years of telling themselves next year. 6 years of watching their friends buy houses while they kept waiting to save that magical 20% down. They had about 15,000 saved already and thought they were nowhere close. When I showed them that 15,000 was actually more than enough with the right loan product and assistance programs, the wife started crying. Not sad crying, not relieved crying, angry crying, because she realized they could have done this 3 years ago. So why does this myth persist? A few reasons. Number one, it benefits some people for you to believe it. If you think you need 20% down, you might give up on homeownership altogether. You might keep renting. You might not even bother talking to a loan officer. And that means you're not building equity. It means you're not building wealth. It means you're not building anything for your family's future. Number two, there's a kernel of truth that gets twisted. Yes, if you put 20% down, what happens is you avoid PMI, private mortgage insurance. That's true. But PMI isn't the boogeyman people make it out to be. On that $400,000 house, we're talking maybe $150 to $200 a month. And here's what nobody tells you. PMI eventually goes away. Once you hit 20% equity, through your payments, through appreciation, it's gone. So there's a few different ways to get rid of mortgage insurance, and those are a few of them. Meanwhile, if you waited 3 more years to save up 20% down, you paid $50,000 or more in rent that built zero equity. Home prices went up another 10 to 15%, and you're actually further behind than when you started. 3, people just don't know what they don't know. Most buyers talk to one lender, usually their bank, get one opinion, and assume that's the whole picture. Your bank has one set of product. I talk about this in another video. They're not going to tell you about the FHA program that would serve you better because they don't offer it. They're not going to tell you about the state assistance program because, frankly, it's not their job to know. That's my job. That's what I do differently. When someone sits down with me, I don't start with, what loan product should I sell you? I start with, let's look at your complete picture and figure out every possible path to get you into a home. And sometimes that's conventional. Sometimes that's FHA. Sometimes it's a VA loan they didn't realize they qualified for through their spouse's service. Sometimes it's combining multiple assistance programs to get them in with almost nothing out of pocket. Let me break down the real math so you can see this clearly. Let's say you're looking at a $425,000 home here in the Vancouver area. That's pretty typical for a starter home right now. The 20% down myth says you need $85,000 saved. For most families, that's 3 to 5 years of aggressive saving, assuming nothing goes wrong, assuming no emergencies that come up, assuming rent doesn't keep going up. But here's the reality. With an FHA loan at 3.5% down, you only need $14,875. With a conventional loan at 3% down, you need $12,750. I've even had clients get into homes with under $5,000 out of pocket when we stack the right programs together. Now, let's talk about what waiting actually costs you. Let's say you're currently paying $2,000 a month in rent. You've decided to wait 2 more years to save up a bigger down payment. Sounds responsible, right? Well, check this out. In those 2 years, you'll pay $48,000 in rent. That money is gone. It built nothing. Your landlord says, thank you. In those 2 years, based on historical trends in the market, home prices will likely increase somewhere between 5 to 10%. That $425,000 home, it might be $465,000 by the time you're ready. So now you need even more for your down payment, and your monthly payment is higher anyway. In those 2 years, you missed out on approximately $15,000 to $25,000 in equity growth that you would have built through your mortgage payments and appreciation on that home. And waiting 2 years to save a bigger down payment could cost you $75,000 or more. That's not an exaggeration, those are real numbers. I'm not saying everyone should rush into buying a home tomorrow. What I'm saying is that the decision should be based on real information, not a myth from 1934. Here's what I wish someone had told me when I was younger, and what I tell every single person who comes to me wondering if home ownership is possible for them. You don't need to have everything figured out. You don't need perfect credit. You don't need a massive pile of cash. You need clarity on where you actually stand and what your real options are. Some people come to me and they're ready right now. They just didn't know it. Some people come to me and they need 6 months to work on a few things first. Some people need a year or 2 years. But here's what me and my team never do. I never just say, no, you don't qualify, good luck. I always create a plan, specific steps, clear timelines, so that even if you're not ready today, you know exactly how to get ready. One of my favorite client stories is a guy who came to me with a credit score in the 580s. Most lenders would have shown him the door. We sat down, looked at his complete picture, and I said, here's the deal. You're not ready today, but if you do these 4 things over the next 18 to 24 months, you will be. He did the work, he stuck to the plan, and fast forward to today, he owns 4 investment properties, and it started with someone being willing to give him a path instead of a verdict. That's what this is really about. It's not about me convincing you to buy a house. It's about making sure you have accurate information so you can make the right decision for your family. So here's what I want you to take away from this. The 20% down payment requirement ended in 1934. It is not a barrier to home ownership in 2025, 2026, and beyond. There are programs that exist that can dramatically reduce what you need to bring to the table. Most people don't know about them. Now you do. So waiting to save more often costs you more than it saves you. Run the actual numbers before you decide to wait another year. And finally, the only way to know where you really stand is to have an honest conversation with someone who's going to look at your complete picture, not just run you through a generic calculator. If you've been watching my videos and wondering whether home ownership is actually possible for you, here's my invitation. Reach out, click the link in the description. Let's have a real conversation about where you stand and what your path forward looks like. In my perspective, everyone is a buyer. Everyone is a homeowner. It's just not time yet. We'll see you in the next video.